Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Sean coming at you from High Levels. So today's going to be a weird one because I feel like I'm kind of like prefacing each video with like small little thing rolling into the big thing. Anyways, the small thing for this is 4 new email templates have been published. So up at the top there, one for marketing agency, one for beauty and fashion, one for other, and one for creative. If you didn't know this, we have a full email builder that does full email marketing. So congratulations if you didn't know that. Even better, we have all these amazing templates to make it super easy to get going. So if you didn't know that, congratulations, you now know that. And now there are 4 additional templates there. So when you go into the email builder, you hit new email, you can say choose from template, and that's where you're going to find those things. So that's that one. Now let's move on to the main event here, which is Soul Prop registration has been launched. So, okay, let's wind this back. Ooh, this is a big topic. Okay, so I have said this in a billion other videos and a billion other places and a billion other times, but let's do it again. A2P 10DLC. A2P 10DLC. If you haven't Googled that, please, for gosh sakes, do so. Here's what it is. The world of SMS is changing. It has been radically changing over the last 18 months. Let's just remember 18 months ago, prior to that, remember all these texts, and maybe you still get some of them that are from people that aren't who they say they are, or people you don't want to hear from, and they're like showing up in your messaging thing, right? You're like mad about that, and so was everybody else. So basically, everyone was going to their carriers and going to their elected officials, and this is again in the United States primarily, and saying, hey, I don't want these, what the heck? And the government basically said, listen, carriers, if you don't act, we're going to. So the carriers heard that message. They moved as swiftly as Fortune 500 companies can move, and they created a centralized registry that is designed to force everyone who wants to send messages through a carrier's network to a consumer to register, to identify themselves via something that is sort of unmistakable. So this is an EIN number if you're a business, or an SSN, a social security number, if you're an individual. And so the idea here is that as we move forward in time, if you choose to send text messages, a couple of things are going to happen. So soon, not now, but soon, and we think September 1st-ish, the rule is going to come down from the carriers. If you want to send text messages, period, bar none, you have to be registered for A2P 10DLC, and if you're not, you will be denied. So heads up, this is not this is not like a want to do, this is a have to do. And by the way, I'll be the first person to tell you I hate all this, but I kind of get it. And in the long term, it's going to be great because it's going to mean that all the people who are sending spam are going to go away, and all the people who are not sending spam are going to be here to stay. And that should mean that you're going to get wildly better delivery for your customers, wildly better results, but you're also going to have to be a little bit more cautious on how you do things. So all that to say, what was out yesterday or before this was normal EIN business registration, aka I have an EIN number, I can register. Now what this is literally what we call sole prop registration, and this just means, hey, I don't have an EIN, I am an LLC, a sole prop sort of type business in the United States. Thusly, I operate under my social security number. So how do I register for A2P 10DLC? That is what this is all about. And you can sort of pause here and read if you want to, but let's talk through this. Individuals and SMEs who do not have EINs will not be able to use sole prop registration. They would just need a business name, a first name, last name, email, phone, to which they have SMS capabilities, so like your personal mobile phone. The number will be used for verification purposes, like 2FA, right? Kind of thing. And then there's some enhancements layered in here. So you now have the option to copy account SIDs from non-LC accounts. Oh, by the way, this only operates inside Lead Connector, folks. So heads up, if you use Twilio directly, they already have this built in. I don't know if they've launched Soul Prop. You'll have to check, but I think so. So you can do all this inside Twilio if you want to, or you can obviously, this brings us into Lead Connector. So email templates for moving numbers now has a subject field. With this is an enhancement sort of in another area here. And Twilio words were removed from call and voicemail settings available in team management. I don't know what that is, but someone will be like, yes, that's exactly what I needed. Anyways, so we have a massive help doc here, but let's kind of walk this through. So when you go to, this is kind of the widget or a wizard, excuse me, that you use to do the registration. And you can see here, it costs money, by the way. And this is not us charging you. This is literally the carriers charging you, and we're just passing this along. So, and this is yet another way for the carriers. Oh, and by the way, all of this is also an opportunity for the carriers to make money, as you probably have figured out. But you can see here, you choose sole prop registration. You go through the process, and then you can see here that we're trying to tell you what is necessary as you go through the process in order to help guide you to make that happen. It's just, it's literally just filling out some fields. And again, it's very basic, but it is very necessary. And in fact, in a future state, we'll make it so that you have to do this when buying a phone number. One quick question I've heard many times is like, can I register on behalf of my customer? Well, sort of. You need to use their info, I suppose, so you could just gather that and do it on their behalf. But at the end of the day, it really ought to be them doing it, because in some sense it's a legal sort of situation they're getting into. They're putting their company in this sort of centralized database that all the carriers use. They assess a score. Oh, and yeah, and so I'm sorry, just to close this out, I know it's been going long and I apologize, but I know this is a big deal. This is a big change. I really want to be as thoughtful as I can here. The whole point of this is to score you as a business, be a sole prop business or a normal business. And the idea is that people who send messages that people don't want, so you know, like when you get those messages you don't want and you hit the spam button, here's what is happening. That information is now going all the way back to that carrier registry. The carrier registry is taking that as a strike against the brand or against the registration or against the company. And if you get enough strikes against it, boom, you're gone, and you'll never ever again be able to send text messages for forevermore. And the idea is you can run, but you can't hide. So this is the whole idea. That registration being centralized, you can change carriers, you can change providers, you can change numbers, but they still know who you are. And so this is something that I think is really important for marketers to hear. You need to help your clients understand that they cannot just take big lists, blast out whatever the heck they want, and expect nothing to happen. In the near and near future, there's lots of bad things will happen. They will probably get fined if they're not A2P registered. If they are, and or the messages will cease to go through, they will no longer ever be able to send messages again. Maybe there'll be some kind of process where you can where it can simmer down and all of that. And all of that to say, a lot of that is unknown, which there's nothing to do with that. We just have to wait as time goes on. Today it's pretty simple. Register for A2P 10DLC, please, 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 and just start being really thoughtful about who you're messaging and when you're messaging them, so that you're not getting people to hit the spam button. So with all that in mind, 6 minutes and 53 seconds and counting, I'd like to say thank you to everybody, and we will talk soon. Thanks.